Welcome, guys, to the At Length podcast. Y'all already know it's Carter, me, and Lisa here, and we're going to dive into this at length conversation to give you all the details that you need to be uplifted, motivated, and inspired. So I'm going to go ahead and let my guest introduce himself.
Hey, what's going on, world? This is your guy, Nate Jones. They call me Nate Jones on bass, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I know that you went through a lot to just be able to open up your schedule, so I appreciate that entirely.
You
Just want to
know,
go
I
ahead and give
literally,
you.
I literally, I just got in the house.
So, how did you get introduced to music in terms of actually playing an instrument, and what made you pick the bass?
um, I got into playing instruments. What made me get into it? I would say my mom. My mom
Mm-hmm.
used to play a bunch of music around the house, and that kind of opened my curiosity to it. And then play the musicians in my church. So I would always hang around my cousins that were playing at the time, and just sit under them and just hang. And then they would let me play a little bit as a kid, and then I learned and just kept on going with it.
So, are you
So
self
I would say
taught?
church. I would say church.
Church? Did
Yeah.
you teach yourself, or did the church teach you, or did you take a
Um,
class?
Yeah, it was a combination of. I learned from my cousins. My cousins were they were playing drums and they were playing bass and organ. So I learned from them,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on I kind of went ahead and got some knowledge from the
Okay,
university.
cool.
Yeah,
Do you play any other instruments, or are you just strictly
yeah. I
bass?
play bass. I started out actually on the drums. I was playing drums, and the reason why I didn't continue is because I didn't have a drum set. We live here in New York, so like you
Yeah,
can't have a drum set in the apartment. You feel me?
right.
So my
It's a
cousins at the
space killer.
time, right? My cousins at the time, they were literally they had houses, so they had drum. They was practicing, and they got really good. And I just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't keep up. I was like, I need to learn something else. And my other cousin Barry was playing bass, so I asked him to teach me, and took a lot of lessons with him. And so drums, bass, and then our organist left the church for a little bit, and I hopped on organ for a little bit, and I was getting good, at
Mm-hmm.
it. And then I just stopped. I don't know why I stopped. I just fell more in love with the bass, and I just
The bass
stayed on
had
it.
your heart.
Yeah. So
What is your favorite genre and why? I know that you've played for quite a different variety of artists. So, what would you say is your favorite genre to play?
that's a loaded question. The business side of me, my favorite genre is the one that pays me the most. The one that
Period.
taught me my skills, where I would say gospel, because
Mm-hmm.
in gospel music, one service you're playing everything in one service. You're playing the blues, you're playing country music, you're playing some fusion with the shop music and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Um, so you learn a lot of different genres just by playing, and then also the music, the way gospel music is written, it's like 7 songs in one. So you're getting everything with that. But I would say the gospel music, the easiest, the one that I relate to the most is hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I guess it's because of the nature of the instrument, but I
Mm-hmm.
love hip hop, and I do a lot of recording, so that's one of my favorites. And then jazz also, it's hard. I'm gonna be here all day because I love them all for
But I love the way
different.
you're breaking it down, like by genre, as to
Yeah,
what
I love
it's.
them all for different reasons. The hip hop obviously is like one of the leading musics of today, and
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of recording with a lot of major artists, and I love it. The simplicity of just playing a dope bass line, and that's your job, and everybody wants to hear it, and they want to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? That's an amazing.
Yeah.
Jazz is amazing because of the colors. So I study jazz for the colors and the harmony, and to be able to be free and be expressive as a musician, as an instrumentalist. The other, and with all of these genres of music, you have to accompany, but jazz is that one where you get to kind of like stand in front and express yourself.
And be
Even
an
though I
individual.
played everything I know behind the choir, thanks to Anthony Jackson. Thank you very much. That's a shout
Shout
out to
outs
my
to him.
the legend,
So
Andrew Jackson. Mm.
you mentioned how you kind of play with others. How do you exactly put a band together? I know that I've had the pleasure of listening to you play in a more intimate setting.
Mm.
How do you become a part of a band or put your own band together?
So you're asking how do I say it one more time?
How do you put a band together?
Um, well, technically, it's easy. You just make some calls. You find a drummer that you like, you find a keyboard player that you like, and you make it happen. For me personally, as a band leader, what I do now is because we live here in New York, and I honestly believe that a gig should pay, if not half your rent, a third of your rent. That's not the case here. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to hire people that are qualified to do anything at any given time, because I know I don't know what the audience is going to want. And you've been to some of my
Yeah.
events
Mm-hmm.
in the last 6 years. I have not sent out any list of music. I usually just hire cats, and I know what they can do, and I make set lists, and I make things based on what my band knows how to do. So for me, the diversity. So when I pick a drummer, I'm looking for someone that can play anything at any given time, whether it's we going Garth Brooks, or we going Metallica, or we going Shirley Caesar, we going, you know what I'm saying, we going Tropical
Mm-hmm.
Quest, but you know what I mean, like we going Charlie
Exactly.
Parker. So like I don't know what it is that the audience is going to want. So I just want to just be as diverse as possible. So I try to pick musicians that are diverse in their skill, and that goes for all of the instruments, bass, drums. So hopefully that answers the question.
It definitely did. How difficult is it to memorize all of those set lists, especially if you achieve having a versatile band where they know so much music or how to play so much music rather?
Well, there's a lot of music out there. There's a lot of music out there. So what I try to do is I go for the hits, man. These
Smart.
songs that are on the radio. It's very simple. The songs that are on the radio and that we love, people all over the world love these songs. They're
Mm-hmm.
hit. That's what makes it a hit record. That the world stops and says, you know what, this is the record. So everywhere you go in life, on any planet, when they hear excuse me, Stevie Wonder's Superstition, they're gonna go, or Songs in the Key of Life. They're gonna go crazy. So I just try to, pick what people like, and I try to do that for each genre of music,
Mm-hmm.
and then and I just keep hitting them with some hits, and if they don't like that, then I keep it moving like a DJ. I
Yeah.
play a little bit,
You got
they're
to
not
read the
moving. All
room.
right, cool. So you gotta just that's what I do.
So, when you're putting together these lists and selecting these gigs or getting these gigs to prepare for, how often do you practice? Are there any specific techniques that you work on to be able to ensure that you can flow through the set, assuming that it matches the crowd that you're playing for?
Um, Repertoire is very important. And that's my answer to that. Repertoire. I just practice repertoire. In jazz, we call them standards.
Mm-hmm.
In R&B, they call them uh, they'll say like R&B, or they'll just say top 40. In gospel music, we call it hymns, and
Yeah.
these are just popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
In jazz we call them standards, right? Which means these are standard songs that everybody knows, and we're gonna go with that. So that's kind of like how I prepare for it. I work a lot on repertoire, and I just try to be as diverse as possible. The
Mm-hmm.
instrument, the bass guitar is just such an amazing instrument that, like, it's an accompany instrument. Yes, it does a lot of other things. We can play melody, we can play chords. A lot of the greats are now, like, a lot of the guys are standing in front of the audience by themselves, and the bass is the lead. But all in all, it's an accompany instrument, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So repertoire is something that I like to. It stands out to me. I try to work.
Okay, that sounds like really great advice, and it makes a lot of sense based on
Yeah,
once you broke it down.
yeah.
You mentioned it being an accompany instrument, and that's what you like to do. Would you say it's wiser to go in as an individual musician when looking to play on tour with a major artist? Or do you think it's better to kind of try to get an audition as a group?
It just depends on your story. It depends on your journey and what you want to do, because there's so many ways that you can go about it. I know people that play in church. I know people that play in casinos. I know people that play on the street. There's so many ways that, I can only tell you my personal, my experience. Like, I made a decision that I wanted to be on tour.
Mm-hmm.
I had an option. I was like, I can either go corporate and make a lot of money, or I can go on tour. I prefer tour because I get to travel, I get to meet new people, I get to um, 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 broaden my brand, broaden my horizons, take and play with major people. That was something that I really wanted to do, and still I'm still doing it. I'm still excited about it, still passionate about it. Um, and then once I got and then you become like what they call a cat. You know what I'm saying? It just
Okay.
says so much when you're good. Like we live in New York, so everybody's good. But when somebody like
Yeah.
that's major, a major level says, you know what, he's dope, she's dope. I want to take you on tour. That's that's something that I want to do. And
Yeah.
my only job is to obviously to a company, but I try to make myself an asset in all of the situations that I'm in. So it's beyond the bass playing, you know what I mean? Because everybody can play.
Exactly.
So I just try to make myself an asset. And now where I am in my career, I wanted to now conquer the corporate world. So I've
Okay.
been doing the corporate thing for like 3 or 4 years, and to the point where now I'm like leading bands and things of that nature. So I got my foot in that. Cool. Now I'm heading on to. There's two more things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heading on to the next phase of where I am in my career, while still doing those other things.
That's great. And it's really cool that you were able to decipher between the two and decide which way you want to go while still keeping your options open for that later time.
Mm.
What exactly is the difference between corporate musically as a musician and tour?
That's a good question. They have some similarities. The similarities is you're going to accompany.
Mm-hmm.
With tour, it's just great. To me, I just have more time. So it's like I don't have what. Excuse me. That's a great question, by the way, because now I'm like
Thank you.
I had to sit up for me. I had to think about. Okay, so here it is. With tour, all you have to do is learn that artist's music. So that's maybe like an hour worth of music. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like 45, like let's just say 45 minutes worth of music. You learn that, you master that, and you travel all over the world playing that music. And that's it. Once you learn it, that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? You do your job, and you have your time, you're making money, you're saving money. The smart ones are saving money on tour. You're meeting people, it's beautiful. The corporate is fun too, but it's like it's more time consuming.
Okay.
And then it's more like you got to wear this, you know what I mean, you got to look this part, you got to play exactly like this, and it's a different
Exactly.
mindset. But because I did the touring thing first, like when I come into the corporate, I could kind of like make my own rule, because I've made
Mm-hmm.
a name for myself because of the tour thing. So like I could kind of break the rule a little bit, break the rules. um I hope none of them see this. But the corporate, but let me say that the corporate world is really fun. I'm really excited about it because it there's it's music that I would not normally play. So there's a lot like approaching the pop music versus the gospel music that I'm normally playing, or the R&B, or the soul, or the neo soul, or the hip hop, or the jazz. Like it's a different approach. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
It's an adjustment.
it's an adjustment, but the rules are the same. You learn the record, and there's
Mm-hmm.
different aspects of how you learn records. So, and I know those aspects, and if you want to know, you got to come study with me. I'll tell you that. I can't give away everything. But
I got you.
that's
We could talk on the sideline
yeah,
later on.
I have a consulting business. If you want to learn, if you want some knowledge, I can help you.
Shameless plug. That's right.
Yeah,
Let them know.
yeah, that's
So you
yeah,
said it's more time consuming in corporate versus touring. What
yeah.
about the corporate side makes it more time consuming than
Um,
touring?
for
Because
me,
you
I
would think
mean,
that
well,
with
like
touring is rigorous.
yeah, well, for me, like I'll get a call, and we'll have a corporate gig, and they'll send a list of songs. The songs will be they'll send like 60 songs, so I have to sit and learn 60 songs,
You could have
and I'm
just
talking
stopped right
about
there. You could have just like they send 60 songs.
60,
Period.
like 60 or
How
better.
do you learn 60 songs? Like how the
I
heck do
mean,
you do that?
at this point, like it just it becomes a lifestyle. So now I just train myself to I'm listening to different stations on the radio. Um,
Smart.
and my practice is different. Like I just adjust it and change it. And then once you start doing it, once you get into it, it starts to it starts you start to remember things.
So
So,
it's all
but
by ear
no,
or
no, no,
is
no,
it
no,
like a
no, no, no.
sheet?
I mean, for some people it is. Sometimes I'll write out a chart for the music. That's what I'll do. I'll learn it. I'll write out a chart for it. Then I'll have it, and then I'll write down the name of the how it makes me feel. Like this. All right, this song is it. It feels like Earth, Wind and Fire because like it's the same thing. You're like a DJ.
Smart.
So like you gotta the
Yeah.
say if it's corporate, say if it's a wedding, it's all the same thing. Say if it's like a wedding band situation, they'll have like specific things that they want to hear, and that could be anything, whatever they like.
Yeah.
You got to learn all of those things. Plus, they're going to be dancing for like 3 hours, so you got to have
That's
3 hours worth of music. So
That's true.
it's a great. I think I recommend it for everybody that hasn't done it. But it's a great tool to have to like. And again, it goes right back to repertoire.
Right.
Because that's it. So
If you
that's
had to
that's
put a if you had to put a timeline on how long it typically takes you or you feel it would take a person to learn all of those songs or learn the techniques to being able to learn the songs, how long do you think it would
it just
say it
depends on
takes?
the person and how they learn. For me, the way I have it, because I've been doing it now for a couple of years, it's a lot easier. Because like half of it, I'm like, okay, I'll look at the list and I'm like, okay, I know these, cool. What don't I know? All right, I don't know these, and then I'll just sit and listen to them. But my method is, as I listen to the music, I write it out.
Yeah.
So I'm knocking it out in one
That's
shot.
smart.
So now as I'm lit, and that's a whole nother discussion
Yeah.
because like when I'm hanging out when I'm at home and I'm chilling, I don't listen to music because I'm not enjoying the music. I'm learning the music. Like when I hear a song, I'm learning it. I don't mean to do that, but like it's just years of
It's
just doing
natural
that.
now because you've been
Yeah,
doing it.
because I got to hear it and then I got to be able to play it on TV right away. Like we don't get the luxury of rehearsals anymore and stuff like that. Like it's always like, hey Nate, can you sub in for such and such? All right, here's 200 records. Like
Wow.
and then I got to make it happen. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
it's a great skill to have, and I think that we live here in New York, and I know they do this all over the world, but just New York is just
The city that never sleeps.
it's notorious for that, yo. And
Yeah.
it don't sleep at
Because
all.
if you want, someone else will. So it's safe to say it's extremely important to know how to read or write music for an aspiring artist.
The diversity is key. The more you can do, the better you're going to be. Like reading is great because sometimes they have charts for you. If you can read, I mean, just basic, like just chord
Yeah.
changes and kicks underneath and stuff like that. Just the basis of it, you'll be cool, and then have a great ear, have a great feel, and then
Yeah.
be able to stay on grid and go off grid. What I mean by that is they'll have a set list, and whatever the set list is, that can change on in the bandstand. But from playing in church all my life, like I'm used to that.
Yeah, because that's definitely how it goes in the church.
Yeah, we rehearse these songs,
That
but
is definitely how it goes.
the spirit is moving this way, so we went that
You got to
way.
shift.
we got to shift. We got to move. We got to move in here. Hello, come on in
You
here.
gonna be, or you gonna get left behind? Everybody's gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Come on. This is what it is. So
That's for sure.
right. So it's just just being diverse, and trying to put yourself in as many situations is going to help you grow as a musician. And I think that that helps. It helps anybody in any field that they do. The more you know about whatever your job is, you're gonna
Right, you gotta do
succeed.
your research.
Yeah.
Definitely. What are the best ways to find auditions to potentially become a part of a tour or a live performance?
That's a hard question, because it's different for different people. I
Like
think
different artists or different musicians?
just for both.
Okay.
Honestly, it's just it's all based on you as an individual, your brand, and what you can do, and then also it's based on your circle. So what I did was, when I wanted to get into the touring, and I was playing at church. I was working with a lot of people. I wanted to be on records, and I wanted to record in gospel. So I was on a few gospel recordings, and then I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this and this. I think that's why I can't ramble. Once I start rambling, I lose focus of where I was at. You got to keep me, I got ADD around here. You got to keep me focused. Say the question again so I can make sure I answer it, because I don't want to ramble.
What are some of the best ways to find auditions to
Okay.
potentially
For
become
me
a part of a
personally,
tour?
right. For me personally, the best way is to find out where's you got to move to where the action is.
Okay.
Whoever's emulating or doing what you want to do, you got to be around that to understand what the criteria is, and you want to be in that loop, you want to be in that circle, you got to go where the action is at. So that's what I would say to do. That's what I did. When I wanted to tour, I was playing straight church, and I was playing for a lot of the gospel, like the Pace Sisters. I was playing for everybody. And then I was like, man, I want to do an R&B gig. So I started hanging around people that were doing the R&B stuff.
Smart. So networking.
Pretty much networking, seeing where everybody was, and just making sure your skill level was up there, and just staying active.
All right. So I know that you've been on tour quite a few times and performed plenty of times during your career. And I want to know, does your diet and lifestyle affect your ability to perform well?
Mine doesn't, because I'm 100% diet as soon as I wake up. That's perfect.
Oregano.
So yeah, so right. We hung out.
You set me up with that.
Yeah, man. Oh man, I think I gave you guys an essential oil one time, and you guys went crazy. You're like,
I was dying.
What's happening? Why is my life changing? And I was like, I told you. Kill all them bacteria, kill all them vibes. I think that is very important. Obviously, that. But it all affects your, you want to be in shape. You want to, if you ever see me play, I'm giving 100%, I'm utilizing my whole body. You feel me? So, I just made it a lifestyle of how I operate as far as my health, what I eat, and my exercises and my diet and things of that nature. So I just literally, I made that a lifestyle, because that affects how I perform. You gotta have endurance. You know what I'm saying? These corporate gigs are 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it's high power energy. You know what I mean? And you probably got,
especially at weddings, you gotta jump and twist and turn.
You going to church, them revivals, man, shoot.
No,
right.
So revival is a 24-hour thing.
Come on,
it's all night long.
So you just want to be physically fit and take that very seriously. I think that's what I do personally.
Knowing that diet is important to being able to perform better, or to be able to make sure you're an asset while on tour or while being a part of a band. how are you able to avoid the temptation like of the industry lifestyle when working gigs? Because a lot of times what's being shown is, the drinking, possibly smoking, or just the all night long partying after the gig, and that means lack of sleep. How are you able to avoid it?
It just depends on the person. But for me personally, I'm like an introvert extrovert. So like
Mm-hmm.
after the gig, 9 times out of 10, I already have my friends at the gig. So I'm not hanging anyway. I'm hanging with my people. So
Yeah.
that's me personally. And I don't drink. I never, I mean, we drank in school and things of that nature. I don't want to be like, oh, I used to, but, you know, I, I, I never liked the taste of alcohol. So it was just, I was doing it because, we were just young and it was just like,
Yeah.
yo, we
That
get,
was the thing.
we about to, you know what I'm saying? But I never liked it, so it was easy for me to just be like, I don't, nah, I'm cool on all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
but that's just me. That's just me personally, and everyone has their thing that they do. There's no judgment over here. So some people
Exactly.
they might want to smoke to release stress and things of that nature and things that's going on in their life, or whatever they do is what they do. I just, I don't.
Fair enough. So you said you never really liked the taste of alcohol, but you kind of dibbled and dabbled at one point in time. What age or what point did you make the decision to just stop?
For me, it was my mom. When my mom got sick, my mom passed in 2001, and
Mm.
when she had got sick, she had breast cancer, and that changed everything for me. Like I was just like, oh, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing like I don't even like alcohol. I don't even like it. So it just stopped everything for me. So that
Yeah,
was an awakening moment for me, and from here, that's it. That was
I
it for me.
completely understand. I
Mhm.
lost my mom when I was 15, so that kind of just like changed a lot for me. It
Mhm.
kind of had the reverse effect on me at
Mhm.
first because I didn't necessarily know how to like cope with it, but it didn't take too long for me to realize that I needed to kind of reel it in and that all the things she implemented in me were what I
Mhm.
really wanted. So I can completely relate to that. In terms of tour life,
Mhm.
how long would you say typically are you specifically on the road for? And are there breaks in between? Like, do they allow you to have downtime? And how does it affect your family and love life being that you're away for these extended periods of time when on tour?
You actually, I got to write these questions down. You hitting a lot. You hitting. How I'm gonna remember all these questions? I
All
be
right, all
start
right, all right. How
rambling.
long you on the road for? How long you on the road
So,
for?
all right. So the average tour it depends. The average tour is usually, let's just say, a tour is like about a month long, right? A month and a
Mm-hmm.
half, and
Okay.
you're out and about, and then you come back home. So like it's slowed down a lot. I would say I would average maybe like 2 tours, but because the magnitude of the tours that I'm on, people just assume that I'm away because the artists that I'm working with are so huge. These are great artists, and the world views them as that. So it's like when the world just sees them and they just automatically think that I'm out, and I'll be right here in the house, eating a bowl of you know what I'm saying, an acai bowl, and I'll be like, damn, nobody calling me, you know what I mean? But they think that I'm
Mm-hmm.
gone, so I have to make sure
Because
I,
they know that you work with that
yeah.
artist.
In reference to, I think you asked as far
Breaks
as
in between. Like, so while you're actively on tour, do they give you any sort of like days off where, you can like
yeah, you have
recoup?
days off. Yeah, you don't work every night. It just depends on how the tour lines up. You know what I mean? So you'll do maybe 2 cities back to back, and you might have a break for a couple of cities, or you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's usually like maybe like three to four dates in a week, which is cool. Like you got to, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Like you got an hour of sound check, and then you have that night you perform 45 minutes to an hour with the artist, and then you're done. So I worked for 2 hours that day.
That's dope.
The rest of the time was
Definitely.
mine. I wish I knew what I know now. I'll tell you that because I would have utilized that time a lot better than what I did.
Hey, you live
But
and you learn. That's what they say. So does
yeah,
it affect your family and your love life? And if so, how?
it could, it could. If you're the type of person, it depends on your situation, and I'm single, so I don't have to answer to anyone or anything like that. I could just kind of get up and go. I don't have any children and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for those that have families, it can be, I can see how it can be challenging. You have to have a partner that understands the lifestyle and understands who you are, and they have to be very very strong because our lifestyle is totally different from everybody else's.
Yeah.
Like right now, I ain't been on tour I got a suitcase in my car right now just in case somebody if somebody calls me for anything. Right, I got a call last night. I won't say who the artist was, but
Mm-hmm.
they called me and it was like 10 o'clock, and they was like, "Yo, man, yo, I got this track. I need you on this. Like, we trying to finish this by 12:30. Can you?" I literally I had everything in my car. Like, I stopped.
It's ready to
I
go.
stopped. I was like, "Hey guys, yo, I gotta go. Let me go find the studio." Found the studio really quickly and got it done and was out. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just being ready. Being ready and being ready is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see how that would be necessary, and
it can be
I
taxing on it.
definitely believe that people should know what they're getting themselves into. So like when you commit to a person, it's best you first make sure you understand their lifestyle, because you did touch on that, saying they have to understand the lifestyle. And a musician on tour or an artist on tour, it's a very different, even just recording prior to tour, that's definitely a
Challenging.
demanding lifestyle
Yeah,
that they
it's
have.
challenging. I remember now that you said that, I remember I was in a relationship, and I remember I got a call. This is before the major tours. I got a call for a gospel tour,
Mm,
and but the gospel tour was 3 months long, and I was so excited because I was like, "This is I've been waiting for." And
yeah.
the young lady that I was dating at the time, she was like, "Oh no, you can't go away for 3 months. That's not." Mm-mm. And she had a real problem, and I didn't do the tour. One of the biggest mistakes that I think that I did, because you're young and I was just like, man, like I need this, and it didn't happen. But I'm
Did you love her?
grateful. Huh?
Did you love her?
Yeah, I didn't do the tour. Let me rephrase that. I didn't get the tour. I definitely auditioned for it, and they liked me. It was some politics involved with it, but I didn't get it. But the fact
Mm,
remains that she didn't want me to go.
okay.
And it wasn't that she wasn't. I don't think she was being like malicious or anything like that. It was just more like
Yeah. She just
you
didn't
know
want
how it
to
is.
be away from
Yeah,
her.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, that's you want. Those are things that you might have to deal with. It's a
Yeah,
different lifestyle.
exactly. So we
Yeah.
all hear the horror stories of the industry. And would you say that touring is the mainstream of income for musicians? And if so, would you say it's enough? Respectfully, but just based on the horror stories that that come with touring, allegedly, we'll say allegedly.
No, I mean people make it's because it's so many different ways to make money as a musician. On tour, I mean, obviously you do the tour, whatever have you, and you negotiate your money, and you make that money, and there's ways to like hustle and make more money, while you're on tour. Like these things that I know now, like doing clinics and with some of the sponsorships that I have,
Mm-hmm.
like setting up in that city. Oh, we're gonna have 2 days off. All right, I'm gonna do a clinic, a master class. I'm gonna do what I mean, things of that nature. You can
Smart.
set up. You could do parties. You can do. It's so many different ways to make money. You can record some music. You can do session work. You let people know, hey, I'm gonna be in Texas for 2 days. You guys got some work. If I'm free, I can play on some records. So it's different ways to do that. Also, when you come home, you know keeping in touch and staying connected to home is very important. Thank God, like I created an event called Taste the Stage, which is
Mm-hmm.
a glorious open mic that we've been rocking for like almost 17 years. So when I come back home, things move. The next chair is open. My chair that I had was open, and it's filled now. So you got to come back and like if you didn't create your own thing, you're gonna be you gotta wait for these chairs to open. So I just created something on my own so that I'll always have a chair, and I sub out
Right.
mine. So, but it's different ways to make money on tour. You can play. You can be a stage manager. You could be a production manager. You can be a tour manager. Um, it's so many different hats. You could be stage hands. You could be a tech, backline tech. You can be a Pro Tools guy. You could be an Ableton guy. You have dancers on tour who are signed to companies, which is great. And I was always jealous about that. Like the musicians, we never had like agencies and things of that nature.
Like
Like
no
the,
union for
the
the
dancers,
musicians.
man, the dancers are kicking butt because they be on one tour and then they just go to their company and they be on.
The
They be
next
on the
one.
next. It'd be like Justin Bieber. Oh, I'm gonna do Usher today. But with us, man, it's just like relationship and networking and your skill. So hopefully I answer. I start rambling, so you gotta
No, no,
like
no, no, no. You in here
gotta
dropping
reel
gems.
me
You
in because
answering thoroughly. I'm letting
yeah,
you go
you
because
gotta
you are
reel me
getting
in.
all the points. You hitting some of the questions. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna
Oh,
ask that
okay,
one.
yeah, yeah. You gotta reel me in because I start talking. I just be going over there, and I'd be like,
Nah,
"Dang,
you're
what did
doing
you ask me
great.
again?" All right,
You're doing
cool.
great. You know, I always love to let you go ahead and bless me with the intel and the knowledge because knowledge is power if you know how to
Yeah,
apply the
yeah,
knowledge.
yeah.
So why do you think musicians don't have an agency? How come the dancers do, but
I
the
don't think
musicians
that. I
don't?
don't think that. I don't think that people created it. I don't know. I don't know. I never really heard of music agency. I mean, we have a union
Oh, you
that
do have a union. Okay.
we have a union, and that caters to certain people. Depending on the gig you do, if you're doing like theater or if you're doing Broadway, they're definitely going to cater to you. Or you're playing on some records, that's going to cater to you. But like, they don't really cover all of the tours. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. It's
So
kind
what
of weird.
does the union do for you that the agency like in place of the agency? So dancers have union and agency and musicians have union no agency, correct?
Well, I don't have a manager or agent. I've never heard anyone talk about it, but everyone talks
Uh-huh.
about the union. The union is great. The union they provide benefits and things of that nature for you. They retire retirement funds and stuff like that. Again, they cater to more like Broadway and they cater to like
Oh,
TV and film. But when it comes
okay.
to touring, it doesn't like
It doesn't really cover.
they're not really covering touring. So you're
Got
kind of
it.
like on your own to no business, no contracts, no things of that nature, so that you can negotiate what you want. And that's something that I learned as well. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
Yeah.
So if they can have you out for $700, cool.
Right.
That's what you
And nine
negotiate.
times out of 10, they if they offer you one, you're probably worth double that.
Well, now
So.
with a little experience, I know the numbers, and I look at budgets, and I look at record sales. You got to look at all of that stuff. How popular they are when they post, how many views they get, how many likes they get. What are their YouTube numbers in comparison to these major you know are they doing Beyonce numbers, or are they
Right.
doing, you know what I mean? Like, so you got to really, I analyze like that. So
And you should.
that's just me personally. And again, you get what you negotiate, and hopefully, that's what you got to do. That's what I do.
So it's would you be interested in starting an agency or something of that nature
I
for
do, I
musicians?
do, I do the consulting.
Oh,
I
the
started
consulting.
I
Yes, you
started
mentioned that.
that about, yeah, I started consulting artists, and more than just art in music, but I started the consulting business. A really good friend of mine told me that I should. They told me about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, that I should. It was like, you go to everybody's show and then you talk to them and you be like, "Yo, show was great, but you guys got to work on this, and that," and you like sum up everybody's stuff. And they was like, "Yo, you should get paid for that. You're a consultant. You do that all the time." So I started doing it, and I started doing it for individual artists, and it's been really, really great.
Yes, that's
Amazing.
right.
Amazing. We had some like great. I got this the last person that I consulted. We She wanted the tour, and she wanted a pop tour, and I was like, okay, let's go for it. And I I told her what she needed to do. I told her what you know there was some holes in her skill level that we needed to fill up really quickly. And for me, I'm all about studying the masters at all time. And so I gave her some people to study, and then again, we had to put her in the circle of people that are doing that.
Right. because
And so
the
you got to get
connections.
out, you got to shake hands, you got to give cards, you got to meet people, you got to follow up, and things of that nature. And lo and behold, well, we got her. She got on the pop tour.
Yes, congratulations to
Amazing,
her. Shout
yeah,
out to her.
amazing.
And shout out to you for getting her ready for that because that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great. Another client that I have, I heard her record, I heard her album, and it just wasn't up to par. So she had to do
Mm.
it again. So she redid her album, um, we redid her look and everything, and then she got one of her single. Spike Lee literally took her song and used it for his theme song for his show. She Gotta Have It. It's amazing. Like these kind of things are
What?
happening, So again, the people that have taken the course it's a 90-minute course that I do with them one on one. We could do it
Mm-hmm.
virtual or we could do it in person. Probably now we do it virtual.
Yeah, because,
And if you follow the guidelines and do it, not everyone is willing to do the work. People say they want it, but it's
they
cool.
don't really want it.
Like
So,
I've done it and I'm still hungry. Like I got a call yesterday. It was 9:15 and I was with friends and we had plans and everything. And then got the call and I said, guys, I gotta go because these opportunities don't happen all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to get, I've done a lot, but I have a long way to go and I want to continue to go. And I want to, you got to keep that work going.
yeah,
Getting
that's
on, getting
great.
getting on into the musician. Getting on is easy. They ain't nothing but a recommendation, whether you're good or not. It's just getting on is easy. Staying there is a whole nother thing.
Right.
It's, staying on it is a whole nother.
So,
You
would
know?
you say that there's enough room for everybody as long as they're driven?
Yeah,
Or is the industry more fruitful towards those who are already like initiated?
yeah. I wouldn't even go industry. I don't want to like just say industry. Let's just say whatever your
Just
goals
music in
are.
general.
Yeah, let's just say, hey, whatever your goal. What are your goals? What do you want to do? Okay, then let's do it every
Sounds
day.
good to
Let's be
me.
on that goal. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, how did you improve your position today?
And goals are so important. They help you to stay on track. They help you to assess yourself and just really dissect what's going on. Is it realistic? And if you're saying it's not realistic, is it not realistic? Or are you not doing the work? Like you can really look yourself in the mirror when you have goals set out for you. So I think that's super important.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And one of the mistakes that I was making is I was setting a bunch of goals, but after I conquered the goal, I didn't make new ones, and that was a problem.
So you
So
was
like
putting a
I
cap on
like
yourself. You was putting a
I,
ceiling. You put a ceiling
yeah, but
on your own
listen,
box.
my mother name is rest in peace, Faye Eugenia Jones. I'm Faye son. She was Sagittarius, and they think a whole nother world. They on a whole nother planet. So that's how my mindset is. I'm like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I've never been to Australia. Boom, 3 weeks later in
In
Australia.
Australia.
Yo, I never
That's
been to
great.
Africa. Boom,
Boom. In
we now in
Africa.
Africa. Right. And it was just a matter of me just saying that, wanting something, and then, but like again, now
Mm-hmm.
what I do is once I achieve the goal, I literally make new ones. That's what I do for me.
I think that's huge and important. So you play the bass. Nate Jones on bass. And I want to know, is it important for you to have multiple of your instrument? And if so, how many do you have?
I got six bases, and I
Is there
have
one
six bases.
special?
They're all special. They're all different. I love them all. I love them all for different reasons. And now, before I used to just, even though I had a lot of bases, I would carry one all the time. You will always see me with one. But like now, as you mature and as you grow and as you start to change, now that I'm maturing more and growing more and getting more knowledge and trying to be more diverse,
Mm-hmm.
um, I I take bases depending on the gig
Okay.
versus
That's
what
smart.
I like to play. It's more like, this sound would be better with this style of music. So let me play this bass.
Do you give them names?
I do have some names for my basses. I got Smurfette. I
Yes,
got
Smurfette.
Smurfette.
Is she blue?
She's blue. I
I'm
got
here for
Smurfette,
it.
and then I got Sugar. I got one that I named Sugar. I didn't name all of them, but two of them they got names. And then I
I
got
like the names.
Sunburst. she's a Sunburst bass. I call her Sunburst, and she's
I
one
love
of
the
my
names.
favorite players. Yeah,
So I want to lighten it up a little bit, and I would like to know what are some of your most memorable moments on tour, or one really memorable moment
I
on
got a
tour.
bunch of them. One memorable tour, one memorable moment for me was so I was touring with Trey Songz. For those that don't know, I'm a part of Dreamville. I record bass I've been recording bass with J. Cole since I want to say the beginning start of his career, since the Friday Night Lights mixtape.
That's
So I've been
awesome.
with him. So we was on tour with Trey, and we had like a layover. It was like 4 days to ourselves, where it was like we were just traveling across country. So what I did was, I was like, Dad, man, I don't want to be on this bus for 4 or 5 days, like traveling. I want to do something else. So what I did was I hit Cole, and they were going to meet in we were going to meet in LA. So I hit up Cole. I said, man, where y'all at? And he was like, yo, we at the studio. We had No ID studio. And I was like, yo, I want to be there. I want to record. Like, he said, yo, come on in. So I took my own money. I booked the flight. I flew to LA
Investing in yourself.
on
Period.
myself to be a
Sorry.
part,
Just throw that out there.
because my goal, I was already on tour, but my goal was I wanted to be on a major record. Like, I wanted to be that guy. Like, yo, I played on that. So that was my opportunity. So again, you jump, and I jumped. I always say jump because I seen a Steve Harvey interview. I don't know if you've seen it, where he said you got to jump to fly.
Yeah.
So I booked the flight. I had some miles, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna use these miles. Met them in LA. Met them at the mansion, and hung out for a little bit. We were going. It was one car. We were going back and forth, and to the studio. I bought Smurfette on that trip. I bought
Yes.
I
Come
bought her. I
on, your
bought her.
girl.
Yeah, I went up to LA. I flew out there, and I went in the store. I was like, yo, I want that bass. Got that bass. The next day, met up with the guys. We went to No ID Studio. We recorded, and that song that we recorded became one of the title tracks for the next album, which is called Born Sinner. But then it doesn't stop there. We were doing the Nokia Theater. I don't know if it's still there in LA. The Nokia Theater, which Trey, because we were on tour, right?
I'm not
So
sure.
Trey and J. Cole got a song together. So I was like, yo, I was telling him, I was like, yo, man, it'd be dope if you came out with us and did the song. And so, like, I talked to some of the management, and Trey was down with it, and they all talk, his people and their people talk, and I just finished recording with him, and then they did the song together at the Nokia Theater. I was on a billion
You're a
trillion.
legend in these streets. Feel me?
I was like, but more like, of like a fan,
Yeah.
coming up, coming up in coming up in New York, like I never really had a clique. I was always
Right.
by myself. You know what I mean? Because I guess that's
That's just how it. That's
that's
how
just
it be
how
out
it
here.
was. Like, I never was
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to be under y'all. Like, we could be cool and all that, but like, you can't tell me what to do. Like, I'm Faye Jones' son. You kidding me? So like, to
Exactly.
have like my tour family, and then also my recording, my Dreamville family on the stage, and I'm playing bass for both. Like, that was a monumental moment for, like, I felt so good about that, man. And
I can imagine. That definitely goes down in history for sure. For
and
sure.
yeah,
So
and it's
how
a beautiful thing, man.
how did you end up playing with Dreamville to start?
I got a call from, I was doing Taste the Stage. So when I was doing
Ah,
when I was doing Taste the Stage is basically it's an open mic event. It's amazing. Like, people come from all over the world here in New York. When everything was open, and we did every Wednesday for, like, in one spot. We stayed there for 11 years, and then we started moving around abroad, taking the audience everywhere. And I was working there, and so everyone knew I was doing music here in New York. So I got a call from a good friend of mine that my boy Elite, and he was like, I got this new artist named J. Cole, whatever. I was like, cool. Let me check him out. I checked him out online. I was like, oh, this dude is fire. Like, he did a
thanks.
freestyle. I forgot what the name of the but he was, young cat, tall. He had the look, he had everything, he had the swag, and he had the skills too. He was a dope MC, and I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So met him. He was cool. Very humble brother. And we just began recording, and then I was able to, the guys that were working with me at Taste the Stage, I said, yo,
Mm-hmm.
there's an opportunity. There's this guy, he's named J. Cole, he's signed to Jay-Z. I was like, yo, they actually, we can get in there and like record and, see what's happening. Now, at the time, I was touring with Trey already. So,
Oh, okay.
so I was like, already, I had my gig, and I love the way they, what I'm saying, they treat me amazing. So I was like, I was content with that. My goal
Mm-hmm.
was I wanted to play on records,
Yeah.
but the guys that I brought in, they wound up touring with J. Cole, which was amazing, and
That's
that felt
great.
great. So that's how I started rocking with him. Yeah.
So basically, having your name and just being known and keeping your connections put you on with that. So how difficult is it to negotiate your splits when recording new records? I know you said your goal was really to get on
you
those
asking
recording
you asking the
records.
you asking the right question. Again, you get what you negotiate,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone is banking on, it's very important to have mentors. Is I have like 6 of them. Is very important to have like some people. You want to be around people that know some stuff. So you get what you negotiate, and it depends on the situation, because each artist is different. Some artists would be like, hey, I'm going to give you this. Some
Mm-hmm.
artists be like, I'm not giving you nothing. Some artists would be like, you know what, it's an honor for you to even be here, so I'm taking it all. It's a lot of different scenarios, and I've been in a lot of them. And
Mm-hmm.
where I am now, I usually just I'm cool with where I am now. Like I'm my family is my family, like my Dreamville family, and the people that
Mm-hmm.
I'm recording with, we have a great relationship. Anyone new that I'm working with, it just depends on what they want. If they want me to play on a record, that's not a problem. But if I write something on a record, I'm probably gonna want some credit for that. I'm definitely gonna
and
want
and it's important to get your credit. You have to make sure that you get credit where credit is due, um, to an extent, especially when you've reached the level that you're at. Like it's definitely important. Would you like the industry to develop a standard maybe based on tenure and accomplishment?
I just want people to no, I want people to just get informed about the business. Like right now, the majority of this conversation we've been talking about the talent and
Yeah.
the skills and stuff like that. Now you're talking about business. So my
Mm-hmm.
advice is to everybody, just learn the business, because it's different.
Right.
Being
Right.
talented is one thing, but like knowing the business is, and I'm
It's
still learning.
necessary.
I'm still learning right now.
Yeah, I think that it's always useful and important to study the area that you're looking to enter in. Like even with the podcast, there's so much more than just, you know, having a camera and a recording device, because there's business to everything, and there's different angles and different important parts to it. So that's definitely a huge deal for people to make sure that they do their studying.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it like having to support major artists for a live performance? Are there practices endless, or is it just like you just get your energy pumped up? What is it like for that?
Well, each artist is different, but the work is the same. No matter if you're doing corporate, if you're doing touring, it's all the same stuff. Did I lose your sound?
No, I can hear
Okay,
you.
okay.
Okay, I
So
was like, I hope not.
yeah. So I think the first things first is individual practice, right? Is how you accomplish, how you learn their music and things like that. You have to do that on your own. You don't learn stuff in rehearsal. You learn it on your own. So it
Mm-hmm.
just depends on. But for me, I have a process, because I'm so used to doing a lot at once. When I get like a couple of songs, I it's it's like clockwork now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's different. It's different levels. I tell you that. I don't want to give away too much of it.
Yes. No. Do what you gotta
Because
do.
again, we I try to share as much as possible, but we live in New York
Yeah.
City, man, and
Exactly.
it's
They
very
can go get
challenging. No, and
consulting.
I keep saying that because the reason why I keep saying that is because it's a different thing with the musicians, all of that live in other places. So when I say that here in New York, the gig is supposed to pay a half or a third of your rent, I
Mm-hmm.
mean that because it's expensive here.
Exactly. Exactly. And Michael Jordan wouldn't teach just anybody. So you got to make sure
Exactly.
that you have parameters around it. So if y'all loving this, we gonna plug that at the end so y'all know where to find him so y'all can get the rest of the gems, okay?
Hmm.
Period. After building with one major artist, right? So you've been on tour with Trey Songz, and you say you have a good repertoire with him, and you're happy there. How do you make a decision to accept an offer from another artist? And what is the
It
process
just
of
depends,
delegating your schedule?
Well. Here's the thing. First things first. You as an artist, you're a free agent. You can do whatever you want to do.
Mm,
You can do whatever you want today or tomorrow. So for me, I've worked with Trey, but I've worked with a lot of other people too. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
people know Trey because he's the most popular, but like before I got with Trey, there was a lot of other artists that
Yes.
you know helped me be a better musician to do a better job while I'm with him as well too. But you're a free agent. You can do whatever you want to do. You know,
So there's no like
nah.
team behind the scenes that's coordinating to say like, okay, but there's like a non-compete, like, you know, like how in fashion sometimes they have a non-compete where if you're with one you can't work with the other. There's nothing like that in place when you're a
Yeah, I
musician. You
mean,
just make.
there's again, once you get in here, you got to learn the rules, man. There are rules of engagement, but it's best to be loyal. For me personally, like yeah, if I feel comfortable, if I'm able to do what I want to do, if I feel like I'm being appreciated, I'm gonna stick around and stay there. And let me just hit this point because I talked about this on another podcast, and we talked about loyalty, right? And what happens is you don't have like I've been on tour with Trey, and I got called for like two or three other tours. Like you're not like is a person loyal with no options? Like how do you
No.
really judge that? You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I be like when I was on tour, I was getting called for tours, and I said no, I don't want to do that because I'm here. To me, that's loyal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you dating someone and they be like, nobody's trying to talk to them. This is like, is that really loyal? Like, I appreciate you
Right.
being here, but like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Loyalty is
there's
key.
some right. So there's some hidden rules in there, but for me personally, like if I'm happy, then I'm cool.
Okay. Thank you for
Hopefully that
that.
answers. Hopefully that
It
answers. I'm
definitely
sorry for
did. It
rambling all over
definitely
the
did. No, you're not all over the place. You're touching on everything I was hoping you would touch on. And if you didn't, I was going to ask. So you're doing
place.
great. Assuming pay wasn't an issue, are there any opportunities that you wouldn't take? If so, why not?
Assuming pay wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I do it all. That's the downfall.
So you
That's
have been
why.
in this position before.
This is the reason why I don't have $25 million right now. Because a lot of times, again, because we become one with that instrument, and we become so passionate about the instrument that we want to share, and we don't do
Yeah.
business. So we be like, "Yo, hey, you had a session, you want to come through?" And we be like, "Yeah, I want to come through and share and be amongst it." But you ain't doing no business. So now where I'm at in my career, I do business. When I take the
Mm,
bass out, this is the price for me to take the bass out. This is the price for me to come there. But
smart.
it took but then it depends. Again, you got to weigh it out. Like I did it a session the other day, and it was a friend of mine, and he's like, "Man, I ain't got no money to pay you." I was like, "Well, cool, just hit me when you can, and or give me
Mm-hmm.
some writers on it. Depends on if
Yeah.
I'm writing or anything." So again, you gotta decide what's best for you.
Yeah. So at what point do you transition from having to audition to them contacting you? Or is auditioning always a part no matter if they contact you or not?
Well, let me say this first. I hate the word audition. It's one of the worst. Like when I hear that word, if somebody says I have to audition, I don't even want to go because like I just had some trauma when I was like in high school and I had to audition
Mm,
for the gospel choir, and it was like 200 people in there, and I got embarrassed so crazy. So
Oh no.
when people say, or, I mean, I was just learning the instrument,
Right.
but when people say audition, I'd be like, audition, what? But um,
The
like
Jay Z face, like.
right, yeah. To this day, I'm still like, audition. What do you mean? Like, you gonna watch me? No. But what I do now is like I literally just I just continue to just it's a lifestyle now. So I just continue to showcase and put myself out there so that people they won't say he can't do this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to like just keep building on the skills that I have and adding new skills and being around people that have skills, and listen to my mentors and stuff like that. Hopefully that like give
Yes.
me the question again because
You.
I started going left.
At what point do you transition from having to? I'm gonna say the word, but it's the word you
Let me
don't
say
like.
it. Yeah,
No,
I
it's
can't
showcase.
speak.
I'll say
Yeah,
showcase.
I can't. Right, I can't speak for everyone else. I only can speak for myself. So like, um, for me, again, just just working with these bigger names, you know what I mean? Like, is you start to meet people, and then it's not really an audition anymore. People are not like, I haven't seen an audition in so long. I haven't even heard
Mm,
that word. It's more referral here in New York.
okay.
Like, hey, that's my boy. He plays. You need a what? Let me call such and such. Let me call Nate. Let me call. So it's more. I
Right.
get more of that than
Then having to
auditions.
just look for an audition or a showcase or something of that nature.
Yeah. So
Okay.
different.
So I know you've been on tour and everything like that with different events and all of that, but are there any other realms um, of the music industry or just in general that you would like to enter into?
Um, that I would like to do.
Yeah, like enter into or,
Yeah. Well.
dabble in.
Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. I'm doing a lot outside of music right now that I've always been into. I mean, music is technically still a part of it, but I'm doing something different now. But let me see. I would like to. I like the management side.
Okay.
I like management side because I'm really good at. I know how to manage artists. I know exactly what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm great at PR, public relations. I know exactly what to do. Just from doing the club for years. Like I was the bass player, but at the club I was the backline guy.
Yeah.
I was the sound man. I was the videographer. I would do a set where we would play, stop the band, like stop the recording, start it again, start the band again. I was also a promoter. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
every week I had to bring about 60 to let's say 40 to 60 people in the same room weekly for 11 years. And then also I had to like deal with budgets and bar sales and things of that nature. I had to deal with promotion. I had to deal with a lot of different things. I was damn near security at the spot too. So I wear a lot of different hats already.
You gotta do what you gotta
But
do.
yeah, so I would say management. I like the management side
All right, that's cool.
and
Uh,
consulting.
and consulting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you say it was harder to perform in front of a crowd of thousands or on TV for shows like Jimmy Kimmel?
It's harder doing like TV shows.
Why?
Because you don't know what's going to go. You don't know what's going to happen or what's going to go wrong,
Mm.
and you have no
This,
control over that. And what happens is when you nail it and when you do it, that's it. Here's 5 million. Here's 5 million views
wow.
right now, and you done messed up on TV, man. Listen, bro. I
I can see
boy.
why that would make your
So
palms sweat.
so
Okay.
yeah. So many nervous stories, man. Like one. I can't even tell that story yet because I'm gonna tell that. I'm gonna tell that story on. I got a series that I have called Stories from the Road, and I'm gonna tell that story personally on there. So I want that to get the exclusive. for
Go
that.
ahead. Make sure you let me know when it's up so I can go check it out
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I want to know the
But I've had
story.
a lot of TV experiences where like we will be doing we end on TV and my in ears I can't hear anymore, but the TV's still going, so you gotta play through it and try to figure it out. You can't stop. It's live.
So when you arrived to, the TV sets and major stages for the first time, was it was one or the other exactly what you imagined it to be as far as like the look and the feel of it, or nah, it was completely different?
It's different, man, because like I'm always on edge because it's like again, when you get to that level, it's not there's no rehearsal. Everything changes and you gotta be able to adapt right away. So I'm always like, and because I play the bass, like that's the bottom. So there can't be any errors or mistakes. You feel me? So it's like
Yeah.
it's a different kind of pressure, man, and it's very very challenging. And I've been through a lot of situations where some I bombed very badly, but but they called me back and I did good on the next one, and those these things are
Exactly.
happening. So I I won't sit here and be like everything I've played or everything or TV show, or everything has been perfect. I've definitely had some crazy moments, but I learned a lot along the way of how to get by on certain things, how to how it could be a mistake and you can make it feel like it was right. You know what I mean? Like you start learning different things. But I learned a lot of this stuff. I learned a lot of this stuff playing in church.
Yeah. One thing
So
I was taught was if you fall while you're doing a performance, they only know if it's a fall is if you let them know. They have no idea if you were meant to
no
do
one
that.
knows.
So it's
No
all
one
about
knows
how you play it off and keep going. So if you fall,
exactly.
you got to get back up and keep moving. If you don't do
Keep
your
on
best,
moving.
learn from it and keep going.
Right.
So for sure.
Right. And then I
So,
have this thing. I have this thing because with the consultant business, I do this thing with musicians because musicians there's music like there's performing for musicians and then there's performing for the consumer. I because I ran the club for a long time, I was always focused on the consumer because the consumer is that's how I got paid.
right.
So even in my playing and what I'm doing is only for the consumer. I don't play for the musician because you know what I mean. Because it's a
Yeah.
different thing. Because at the end of the day, we all trying to get on this gig. So
Yeah.
I don't need to impress you, I need to impress the consumer. The consumer could be the audience. It could be that artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something that I've always done. Like me, I don't know why. Like I want to say it was my job. I used to work at the VIP heliport down on 30th Street,
Okay.
and we dealt with a lot of celebrities because, like, the celebrities they fly into the Hamptons, they don't drive, they just
Yeah.
take a 30-minute flight, and so I would meet a lot of celebrities from the J Lo's to the Diddy's to I met Big Pun, I met a bunch of athletes. I met Serena, Venus and Serena. I met
How did you even end up having that job? How did you get
yeah,
that
I met
job?
through church.
Listen,
Through church, man.
listen, God is
So,
good all
yeah,
the
man.
time, and all the
Yeah.
time, God is
Yeah.
good.
So like I had the gig and it was cool and listen, I learned a lot. So now when I'm dealing with artists, I have so much experience dealing with those with like celebrity artists. Like I just know how to I talk to them regular. Like I'm not kissing your butt. I'm not trying to like I don't need anything from you. I want to enhance
Exactly.
you. My whole purpose is to enhance the artist. That's and I want you to know
Yeah.
that. I want you to be a trillionaire and I just want you to pay me my salary. How about that?
Right.
I'm that sound like a good deal?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
that
So
simple.
and that's what it is. That's and I think that's why I get calls a lot because I try to make myself an asset and I treat them regular. Like I listen to them. I pay attention even when they don't speak. I just pay attention. And in that paying attention, you start to body
You
language,
learn a lot.
chemistry, things of that nature. You start learning and paying attention. So that's it.
So 2020, it's been a year. And if nothing else to remember, how has COVID affected you as a musician, and how are you navigating through it to ensure that you're still able
Um,
to do your craft?
Well, I want to say first and foremost that God is in control. It's affected our industry. You know, like around this time right now, I'll be in Amsterdam someplace. You know, so like the tours have subsided. The music industry in itself has subsided. The clubs, speakeasies. You know, I think you came to see me at
Yeah.
one of my speakeasies with
I
everybody.
forget which one it was, but I know I had to walk down that alleyway. So
Yeah, right, right. It was that. It was the hotel speakeasy that we did. Yeah, that was. I
yeah.
love that venue, and
It's beautiful
all
though.
of
It
those.
is.
Yeah, it was beautiful inside, and all of those have subsided, man. And so it's been very challenging, but I'm grateful because when one door closes, another opens.
Another one
So it's
opens.
like I started being more creative. I put out a lot of content. I started the Stories from the Road, a series, which was great. I finished that series already. I'm just putting them out now.
Right?
I created some bass work, which is great. I did two commercials. I did a Crown Royal commercial, which was that I didn't know that it was radio and it's on radio and TV. And I found that out later. I was like, wait a minute, that's me playing on that. I did that. I created. I just been creating instead of like moping. I mean, it ain't gonna change. Ain't no money coming in, so you
Right. You
gotta
gotta
just
shift gears and keep going.
yeah, you gotta just do it. So it's been challenging. It's not easy. I noticed that a lot of my musician friends, the ones that are like in relationships or married or something like they're surviving a little bit better than I am. But God, like again, God has opened some doors for me, and I'm really really grateful. Things are not perfect, but I'm just moved. Thank God for great friends. Thank for
Yeah.
God for like yourself
Oh, thank
and
you.
V and all. You know what I mean? I could count on. I could call on them and like, hey, yo, I need a ride. I need this. I need
Yeah.
that. So, but it's been challenging.
And get her
It's
done.
not easy at all.
I think that for me, COVID or just the shift, it it kind of pushed me the way I needed to be pushed to get things that I've been wanting to get done
Yeah.
anyway. It allowed for time to get it done. It made me really have to channel my creativity, just like how you were saying with like launching things and whatnot, things that I was already planning to do, but now I just really was like, yeah, it's now or never. Go hard or go home, for sure. Definitely,
Yeah, and
definitely.
I'm grateful that you're doing it. Like I'm loving what you're doing. This is really really great. I got like
Thanks.
I got 1,000 pointers to happen right now.
Yes, I need them. I
But
need them. We
I
gonna
told
talk
you,
when it's
yeah, we're
finished.
talking this over, and I'll
Period.
be like,
I
I
need
got
them.
you, I got you. But I'm grateful for you, and I love the fact that you're spotlight. I like what you're doing because it's enhancing, it's enhancing, it's enhancing all of us, to hear these stories, to hear everything, and the interview, all of this stuff. So I'm grateful for it. I like the backdrop. I like the background. The
Oh,
lighting is
thank
dope.
you. Thank you. Thank
Um,
you. It wasn't on me. It wasn't on me.
no,
I got
but
my team. You know.
yeah, and that's another thing that this situation has allowed me to do. Like where I would do everything myself, as you can see, like when I was saying when I was running the club. Like now, I reach out and I say and I delegate. I'm like, yo, let's join forces. Let's you
Exactly.
know, like what we're doing right now. We're joining forces. Like I'm helping you, but you're helping me because your audience
And
tells
that's the
yeah,
point. And that is the point. The point is to connect, to push each other further and beyond. And this is also helping whoever's watching it. And that's ultimately the goal, with this. And that was my vision to begin with, was just to be able to inspire, motivate, and uplift. I want the conversation to inspire, motivate, and uplift the person I'm talking to, whoever's watching it, and me again. Even though as I reach out to persons, they've already done something to make me get here or further. So that's always important and necessary and needed, in every community across the board. So I'm almost done. I just have a few more questions for you. And
all
I
good.
appreciate you again for making the time to do this.
Hmm.
All right. So we're going to keep going so we can go.
Come on.
Can you list 10 songs that you're listening to right now?
That's kind of hard. Again, I don't. I'm not listening to too much right now. Um, but I will say, what did I listen to the other day? I've been checking out like just different genres of music. So I've been listening to a lot of pop music for the
Mm-hmm.
sounds, for sound purposes.
Okay.
Um, I've been working on the blues. That's been my function right now. I've been working on the blues. So I've been checking
I
out like
like that.
Miss Ethel. I've been checking out Muddy Waters. Um, and I've been checking out like some of the masters on my instrument. Like I literally today I wrote down a bunch of like masters that I've been checking out on the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know you said music, but I've been working
No,
checking
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
like Oscar Pettiford. I got Christian McBride on here. I got Paul Chambers. I got Mingus, Scott LaFaro. Tom Kennedy's a bad boy. Ron Carter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. I kind of like do that. I study the masters, and then I look at how they ate, their lifestyle and their longevity, their downfalls, things that
That's smart.
what did they do when they didn't have any money and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. There's a dope Duke Ellington story of when they went through that depression state. So I just study the masters.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. Like I study them, and that's what I do.
There's a saying, it's if you want to be strong like an ox, you don't eat the ox, you eat what the ox eats. So
Wow.
it's great that you're sitting here studying the masters, especially to go as far as, what they did when they didn't have things. Because if you want to be a master, you have to study what the masters did. So that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. The last question I'm going to ask
Yeah,
you
and just to
is,
rebuttal that,
oh,
like
go ahead.
it
Go
goes back.
ahead.
Yeah, it goes back to what I was saying as far as being where the action is, being where it is. When you
Yeah.
were asking me about like, how did you get started in touring and things of that nature? Like, I went to where the action was, and the
Mm-hmm.
action is like now we have the internet and YouTube, and we can go back and listen to the masters and pay attention and get note for note what they played and how they talked and their charisma, how they looked, their style, their swag. Man, it's endless information up there, man. So that's what I do. I just make sure I study them.
Truthfully. So, who's an artist that you have yet to work with or that you haven't worked with in a while that you would like or love to play for or with again?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question. The reason being is because we playing for money.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the people that I would name, it would be I would be wanting to play with them because there's a bankroll that comes with it. So like one of my
Yeah.
mentors, he plays with the Stones. He's making like $2-3 million a year.
Mm.
I want to play with now. Do I want to play with the Stones or do I want the $2 million? I just take the $2 million. Give me the $2 million.
Exactly. I mean,
So like so
gotta
when you
eat.
say when you ask that question, my brain goes there.
Right.
But obviously like the masters, I mean like obviously Stevie, you can't go wrong with that. There's a few bass guys that I would like to share stage. I would like to share stage with, like Marcus Miller and Victor Wooten and people like that. I'm trying to think of, we lost so many legends, man. Because if Whitney Houston was here, I would want to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
If Biggie Smalls was here, I would want to work with him. If Pac was alive, I know we would have worked together.
Yeah.
You know,
I could see
um,
that. I could see
like
that for sure.
like I wanted to, like James Moore. I would love to play with James Moore and Daryl Coley. I would like to be in that kind of situation. Um, uh, John P. Key, you know, I would
Mm-hmm.
love to be like these are legends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like stuff like that. I would love to do like a duet with the Clark sisters right now, like them and me on
Yeah.
stage. That would be fire, And I'm trying to scare myself. I'm just trying to like really scare the hell out of myself right now. Like
I love it.
I want to sit down with like Will Smith and like let him do a verse and me playing bass while he's doing a verse. That'd
That
be
would be fire. That'd be fire.
um,
And you know what? I'm not gonna hold you. That's not far fetched. That's
Yeah, but
not far fetched. So I'm gonna
that's
let
what I
you know
want.
right now. When I play this snippet, I'm finna have everybody spam the comments, and we gonna get Will because you know he's a social
Yeah,
media fanatic. He be up
yeah.
on there, okay?
I
He
want
be
I
up
want to
on
do
there.
I want to I like to scare myself. So like I want to do a duet with Will Smith, which is bass and him flowing and rapping and doing something like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with Ice T because he's a legend in the game. I want to do something with Chuck D from Public Enemy, KRS One would be dope. Rakim would be dope. I want to do something with Big Daddy Kane. That would be fire. I want to do a
Yeah.
duet with with Kelly Rowland. I like
Ooh, I like that one. I like that one.
yeah, Faith Evans would be another one that I would want to
Mm-hmm.
work with and just do some stuff with. Um, who else? And a lot of them I've already worked with already, but like I
But
would like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
these
I
kind of like,
said have worked with and haven't in a while, or haven't and would love to. So you in the parameters.
yeah, I wouldn't mind.
It sounds like an incredible album to me.
Yeah, hold on, I'm in my bag right now. Hold on,
Oh.
yeah, all right, hold on, because I gotta bring this to like I would like to do like a duet with Verdine White, like me and him just grooving on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be crazy. Um, I would like to write a I produce records as well too. I would like to produce a song for like Hezekiah Walker. That'd be fire. You know, like it just it's endless. I want to meet Dolly Parton. I ain't never meet Miss Parton, man. She's I know. And how about Shirley Caesar? I met her once, but I should have took the picture and because I wanted to talk to her, but I
Yeah.
should have took the picture, but I got it. I had the it's my moment. So
Yeah.
like it's endless. I have these ideas are like endless. Like what I mean. I try to scare the hell out of myself. So like
As you should. Shoot for the stars. Shoot for the
yeah.
stars. That's great. I loved all the names you said. I
Oh, and
think
let me say this. Let me say this. And I want to do something with Tyler Perry. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. Even whether I'm
it's definitely happening. It's
in
that's
yeah,
happening.
either
It's
in the
happening.
cast or in the band, in the movie, or like something like that.
It's definitely happening. We claiming it. We claiming it.
Yeah, I'm with it.
That's Nate Jones on
Sorry, I just
bass.
had a moment. That was a moment. I had my own moment on your show. That was my moment.
Listen, it's okay. That's what we here for. So I want to just give you the opportunity to go ahead, plug yourself in, your at name, your consulting, all of it. Where can they find you? Where to check you out? Where do they look for you at? Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right, cool. Well, again, I made it very easy for everyone. My name is Nate Jones, and they call me Nate Jones on Bass. That's Bass. All right. So you can find me on all platforms of social media. Nate Jones on Bass. Same thing. If you want to send me a Cash App, or if you want to send me a Venmo or anything like that, Nate Jones on Bass. Come find me. My website is natejonesonbass.com. I have a beautiful shirt that we made called I have the turn up the bass t-shirts, and then also have the music is essential and musicians are essential shirts. Those are on my website. Go check out those things. I have some music out. Everything's on the site. I also have a consulting business where we do a 90-minute consultation and we get you where you want to be.
Period. So go check him out. Thank you so much. Again, y'all, this is an At Length conversation on the At Length podcast, and you can follow me at Carter Me Elisa and know how it goes. Till next time, peace.